So in this video, we're going to look at how to get started using GDB online. So the first step is to go to this website, onlinegdb.com, and it'll pop up like this. And then you'll need to change the language. So right now I have it in C++17, but it might pop up under C or a different language. So make for sure that you change it over here to be C++17. 17 is the most recent standard that it has available. That way, if whatever you see in the textbook or later, if it's using some of the newer commands, then it'll run. All right, and then up here you see this run arrow. Here is where you would type your program in. So we've got just a hello world program typed in here, and then here is your output window down here. So let's go over this the three pieces of this program really quickly, and then we'll run it and then get a copy of the output. So this first part where it has the slashes and then the first slash and then the asterisk, and then you can see that it ends in an asterisk slash. Those are comments, so those are just comments that are to the user, and we don't really need them. This is just a header that Online GDB put in. So we could take this out and we could say, you know, here is our first hello world program, and we can replace it that way. There's two different types of comments that you'll see in C++. If you do a / that comments to the end of the line. Always with these editors, there's this tendency for them to change things to autocorrect. So just be aware of that. That's what it's doing for me here. So let me just retype that. And you can see this auto correct stuff that's popping up. So if I'm not paying attention and I just press enter, then I may get one of these keywords included. And that'll be helpful later as you're programming, sometimes not so helpful in the beginning. And then this would be an example of one of the comments that you see up at the top. Once I comment, you can see it comments out the entire rest of my program. And then it's waiting for me to do another asterisk slash. And then once I do that asterisk slash, then it understands that that's the end of that comment block. So single line comments and multi-line comments. The next statement that we see in here is one of our what's called a preprocessor directive. And the preprocessor directive is something that it's going to take a look at and prepare before it tries to go ahead and put your program together into some kind of code that the computer can execute. So this preprocessor directive has this # in here. So it says # include. So that means that we're going to include a library file, and the library file that we're including is IO stream. So I for input, O for output, and then stream is the way that C++ commonly manages the input-output by throwing something into a stream that'll then get printed out to the console window that we have down here. Or if you're typing something in, the character that you're typing in is going to go into a stream. We'll talk about all that a lot later. For right now, the important thing to remember is anytime you do any input or output, make sure that you have this # include IO stream somewhere up before your program starts. So this specifically means include the input-output stream library. And C++ has a lot of different libraries. You wouldn't want them to all be added to your program. because that would make every program incredibly large and run more slowly. And so you just include the library file that you need from the C++ standard library, and you can also even create your own libraries, and we'll talk about that later in the class. So then now we look at line 12. Notice there's a blank space on line 11. C++ just ignores blank lines, so that blank space on line 11 doesn't affect anything. And then on line 12 we have int, so int is a type, so it's telling us that there's a number. And then main, and then when we have the open close quotes after main, that indicates that main is a function. So main is going to do something. It's not going to just be a number. But when we have this int in front of it, that means that main should return a number. So when main's done executing, it's going to have to produce a number to give back to the system. Main is always the main function, of course, right? That C++ executes. So in your C++ programs, you'll always want to have a main, and then your main can drive other functions. So bottom line here, always want to have that int main. Sometimes you'll also see the keyword void inside. Void in C++ means the same thing that it means in just standard speech. It just means empty. And so if you leave the space in between those parentheses empty, that's exactly the same as putting the word void in there. C++ defines functions as being between these open and closed curly braces. So as soon as we define this as a function, then we need this open curly brace to show that this is the code that's going inside the function. And then when the function ends, we need that closed curly brace down here. It's nice if you put some white space in there just to kind of help the reader as they're going through your program. It's really nice if you indent your lines, but C++ again just ignores all that blank space. So then we have a statement that we're going to talk a lot more about next week, but this is a cout statement. The std : in front of it means that it's coming from the C standard library, specifically from IOStream up here that we included. This is the less than operator. Just means that the string that we've typed in, a string is just a collection of letters and numbers and other characters, that the string in between the two double quotes here is going to be added to this output stream so that it's then printed onto the console window down here as your program executes. Every time you come to the end of a statement in C++, it has to have a semicolon. Without that semicolon, it's going to just keep looking for more of your statement. And that's probably the most common error that you'll see as you go through and create programs, is missing that semicolon. And so this is the only statement that's really going to appear to do anything in this program. But we do need to end main and tell it that we're done with the program. So we have this return statement. So return means that we're done with the function and we're going to pass something back. In this case, the system is running main, so we're going to give a 0 back to the system. All right, and then there's our closed curly brace. So now we're ready to run it. So we just click the arrow here. It's compiling, so it'll take it a sec to run. There's the output, hello world, and then you can see it says program finished with exit code 0, and the 0 that you have here is the same 0 that you returned here on line 16. Online GDB is free for at least now, and it works really well. It's actually an excellent implementation of C++. It doesn't look very powerful, but it is as powerful as any of the other IDEs that we'll use in the class. So if you have an older system, or you have a Chromebook or something like that where you wouldn't be able to install or you're working on tablet where you wouldn't be able to install one of the other IDEs, I would highly recommend using online GDB. It also has cloud space, some limited cloud space where you can store your projects. So if you do decide to use online GDB, make sure that you go through and do the sign up, and then make sure that you're logging in, or that you're logging in through your Facebook or Twitter. So just make sure that you set that up this week. If you do need to get your file off of the cloud space, you can go ahead and save it here. It's going to want me to log in to save it. And then to get it back, I can just click on this download code. And then you can see that my main.cpp, this is my C++ code file, is now downloaded here at the bottom of the screen. Thanks for watching.